Hey guys, welcome back to Orwell Ignorance's Strength. My name is Sorak and I'll be your Orwell agent for the next half hour or so. Let's continue where we left off. We found out that Illya Vhart is a former member of the army of Parges. He served as the 1st Infantry Division, Prava. He was an infantryman, but he went AWOL and he was punished and discharged by local command before moving to the nation. We got a lot of juicy information available to us now. We have to counter Raban's narrative that Prime Minister Blaine and President Gassard are meeting to conspire against the Pargesian people. We're trying to find ways to crush this sentiment, this statement, by finding anything that helps our case. But I want to stay true. I want to provide sort of facts. I don't want to start spreading misinformation. It could bite us in the ass. I don't quite know. So let's be careful where we put things. We know that Ilya's leaving town. He's going on a one-way trip to... I forget where it's called. Versed or something like that. Unfortunately, I don't think Karen's going to go with him. But let's continue reading the secret message board that his family set up on Save Parges. I don't want to join the stupid war. That's when he asked. That's when we find out that they lived next to Oleg, and Raban was pretty close to Oleg, which we kind of already knew. I think there's one more thread I haven't checked yet. Thread. Check messages ASAP. November 27, 2010. Only visible for Raban and Captain Illya Janeway. Captain Illya Janeway. Mom and Dad are gone. They took them. They sent soldiers to our home. It was so horrible. They started hitting Dad and yelled that this was his punishment. Mom tried to fight them off, and then they started hitting her too. These bastards just took them away, and now they are gone, Raban. What should we do? You have to help us. Raban, please check your goddamn messages for fuck's sake. I don't know if Raban ever checked it. So his parents were abducted by Pargesian soldiers as punishment, probably for deserting the military. This is 2010. When did he desert? Or leave? Hang on, let's find that out. So November, he left, or they got punished. Doesn't give me a month, just says that he attempted to flee. Is it worth noting his affiliation? I guess so. Let's grab that. Let's not worry about the pictures. All good. That's a good enough picture. That's the most recent. Okay, so his parents were Pargesian revolutionaries. Important. They weren't members of the FTP, were they? Raban openly criticizes Gassard all the time. I doubt we can gain any benefit from knowing his parents may have done the same thing. No, and they probably weren't revolutionaries per se, in quotes. I think they were just doing some peaceful protests, not like they were terrorists or anything. He's going to talk to Oleg, get him exempted from service. Probably worth noting that down. Just gather all this info. I'm not quite sure what kind of timeline we're working on. I'm curious whether that worked out, or what it took to convince Piquet. It didn't work out, and he ended up getting punished severely. Parents were abducted. That's important to know as well, I guess. This web is growing as well. It's 3 PM now. Truly horrible. Then again, maybe it was all about Illya trying to flee from army service. I mean, it could easily be the truth, but at this point, we don't have to care. Coward brother. Learn how Illya Vhart got his parents punished for his own cowardice and his brother Raban covered for him. Good, we have a narrative again. Can't spread it yet though. Not before Raban publishes his article. Keep searching around. I don't know, this doesn't seem like a very strong narrative. Coward brother. Learn how Illya Vhart got his parents punished for his own cowardice and his brother Raban covered for him. I think that might help Raban, like Raban's case. So maybe that's not the best narrative. We need something concrete. We need to destroy Raban. But I mean, we've got Oleg's email here. The office wants to get rid of him. Let's not throw that in there. Radka died in the bombing. Probably important to know that. What a tragedy. We knew she had been present that day. Raban Vhart cooperating with the office. Is this something I need to throw in there? Raban, I'm not quite as dead as you. How did this guy even get a hold of email? He's supposed to be under arrest. He found a way. That's all he says. Didn't expect you to sink so low as to work with the office. That's why I couldn't figure it out back then, but the recent days have opened my eyes. The arrest, all those interrogations they put me through, you're with them. That's the only way you may have obtained internal info on me and created that leak. Yes, I've been working with them as well. Let's just throw this in. This would be all so much easier if he was. I don't know where that came from, but there's no way we can build a conspiracy theory involving us directly. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think you'd want to release that as a narrative. So that's a bit of a dead end, I guess. We still need to buy some time. He hasn't published the article, which is good, because I'm not ready to publish stuff. It says there's something new here. I don't see anything new. Trash. Dear First, that's the place. She was not interested. I think I've already handled that, haven't I? Yeah, it's all blank. So, what's new, Pussycat? Oh, it's an email regarding Nina Mananova, who got killed. Dear Mrs. Raban Vhart, it has been brought to our attention that your patient number NA32694 has been involved in a criminal case. Unfortunately, she has been shot on the run and the case is now being investigated thoroughly. As you know, a situation like this requires a report by the therapeutic counselor who treated her. We therefore kindly ask you to hand in your report on Mrs. Mananova by the end of the day. Please be informed that this report is highly important for the case and will be used in court. The Rehab Council is obliged to inform you that all of your statements have to be as accurate as possible, and that you are obliged to answer all questions you may be asked in court truthfully. Yours sincerely, Esther Baker. Yeah, it's not good. It is not good. Yep, so got rid of that star now. Raban checking out some more stuff. Demjan Kassart's History of Fabricated Elections, an investigative documentary of government fraud. What was last night? He's doing some research, trying to find some dirt, I guess. Damn, really? What other narratives can I spin? There's not much I can find here. It's getting kind of difficult. I've got Karen's timeline, I've got the interview with Elizabeth Levine, but what's this gonna give me? You know? And how does this go against this statement? I don't quite understand, saying that Raban covering for Illya after his parents got punished goes against the statement that Blaine and Kassart are meeting to conspire against the Pargesian people. Oh, here we go. Did you know this impertinent person invited soldiers into a school? Let's follow up on this lead. So we know he was working with Bakay, apparently. Then he's working with the office. If he was working with the office, that means he would have sheltered the Pargesian army because the nation and Parges are working together, right? Am I following that thread correctly? Your Blind Ranger became that tool because of what? Did you really think me behind what happened to Bravo Secondary? My unit was being targeted by someone unknown. He was working with the military. I'm just going to throw this in here. See what comes up. It's not conflicting with anything. Oh, there we go. Related document. By that, Vhart may have drawn fire directly to the school. Why would he consider such a thing? How mindless can you get? He deserves to go down. And so he will. By our hand. Alright, what do we got? What could possibly relate to that? Thread. The Pargesian army will protect Bravo Secondary. Started by Raban Vhart on November 25th, 2010. November 25th. Oops. No, not logging out. And then their parents got taken away 2 days later on the 27th. Interesting. Alright, let's read this. This has been done. In light of the conflict brewing with the FTP, I managed to make a deal with Oleg Bakay, whose unit from the Pargesian army will protect our school. I assure you that your children will be safe. I hope this helps to convince you not to take your children out of school. Yelena Lavrova. This sounds a bit drastic. The National Army seems to have the situation under control. I appreciate the effort Principal Vhart, but I'm not convinced that having a unit of Pargesian soldiers around the school is a good idea. Are you sure this won't draw more attention to the school? I assure you it'll be fine, Yelena. I would never do anything to endanger my pupils. They are as safe as they can be at my school. May I grab a batch? Thank you, Mr. Vhart. I appreciate your efforts to keep Provost Secretary safe. You made a deal with Oleg Bakay, which is that photo, right? They were shaking hands all the way back in episode 1. So this is why Oleg and Raban met at school. They had some kind of protection deal going on. Sounds extremely dumb to me. And it's not the entire truth. We know Bakay wanted a shelter for his unit. This would let Raban look pretty bad if it were to be released. So, why not go for it? Army lover, lousy deal. But we're getting more and more narratives now. Hashtag Army lover, former Principal Raban Vhart sold school's shelter to Pargesian Army prior to school's destruction through bombardment. That's a juicy one. Lousy deal, former Principal Raban Vhart sheltered Pargesian Army in a deal to get his brother Illya exempted from service before the building got attacked. I think this one's a bit more juicier, isn't it? He sold them out. He's housing an army in the school, which is just going to attract... It's like making them look like they're using these kids as human shields. Or we got sheltered the Pargesian Army in a deal to get his brother Illya exempted from service. I mean, people can understand that, right? You're just trying to protect your brother. But here, it's like, whoa. Sheltering the army, as I love them. And we're going to use these kids as bait, basically, or shields. So I think that's going to be our narrative, unless I can find something else that's fantastic. Okay, we're making some good progress here. Party supports Karen Levine's work. That doesn't really help my issue. I do need to pass the time. I'm guessing it's going to be published at 4 PM just because it's a nice round time. Exclusive interviews. Is there anything else in here? My daughter Karen's a kind-hearted person. Is this really something we need to throw in there? I don't really know what's going on with Karen and her mother. Is it really that important? Doubt it. Karen, we don't know. Apparently they haven't been talking. Probably this one. I mean, this is just, you know, the usual, oh yes, my family supports me, I'm the politician, you know. They stand on stage looking pretty. I suppose let's just chuck in the fact that her mother broke contact, or she broke contact with her mother. It'll pass the time. With a mother like Elizabeth Levine? I cannot even imagine why. Too bad. If she would have been in contact with her mother, we might have used that against her. There we go, is that it? Raban published this article. The time to strike back has come. You can go on searching for more material to create narratives from, though. Please. Take your time. When ready, strike Raban Vhart as hard as you can. We need to make this count. I mean, is there anything better than this? He's got a lot of listeners. Oh, he's probably got some... Oh, God. What a picture. So he's gaining listeners by publishing these blogs. I need to counteract the gains he's getting. The big conspiracy you should know about. The rumors that I married my wife only to get out of the refugee camp are both extremely insulting and untrue. They are meant to draw your attention away from something way more important than my personal life. The important question should be, why is the focus of attention not on one of the most pressing and obvious issues? Is it not curious that during a national crisis like this, while Bonton is threatened by terrorists, the Prime Minister is leaving the country? Is it not weird that he is meeting Cassard, who is throwing him a military parade party, under the guise of a negotiation meeting? The answer is that this is bullshit. Negotiation is not what the national government wants. They want power. Blaine and Cassard want to control our minds by secretly conspiring against the people of Parges. Since this is what that meeting really shows, and what you should really be worried about, I hereby call for a protest in front of the presidential palace in Triflith. Let's show these traitors to the people what we think of them. I really don't know what other kind of narratives we can spin at the moment. I think we have got the best possible one. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, but we have 3, and I don't like these 2. This one's definitely the best. This one shows that he's a family man, which kind of counteracts what we just said before, that he's not a family man and these guys aren't loyal to him. By saying this, that he's using kids as like protection, and he's sheltering soldiers at the school, just asks for bombardment, you know, makes him look really bad. I'm gonna go with option B, hashtag army lover. Here we go. It'll take us through to 5 p.m. I hope this is good. I hope this is what Ampleford is after. No, we're getting some new bits of information. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. What do we got? It's all spread and done. Very good thinking there to show Raban as an army lover. That hurt him well. Good work, but not good enough. Raban is still around and he still has a loyal follower base. So, what absurdities does he dare to claim this time? I hope that was strong enough. Ugh, feels like barely dented him. We need to do better. Bonton Central Station, that's his current whereabouts, his brother. Okay. He's getting ready to leave. Draft. National government kills. Let's see the reactions to hashtag army lover. Rita Savolik. At People's Voice. I've been reading the People's Voice from day one and was always a loyal follower. Now I hear you are lifelong friends with a soldier that fights for this corrupt government. How can I trust anything you write? Hashtag army lover. At People's Voice, at Rita, so the government of the nation has been spreading lies about me. It is more important than ever to choose your sources wisely. All I can ask for now is to give me the benefit of the doubt and trust me. At Moonrise Hell, you're a fraud. Can't trust a hashtag army lover who is secretly involved with the government. At the Moon Hell, you're wrong. I am and always will be loyal to my home country. I do not have any regard for the Pargesian army. Marlon Lovovich, I was always wondering why you moved to the nation if you really loved Parges so much. Now I know that you were involved with the Pargesian army and therefore a corrupt government all along. Hashtag army lover. At Marlon Lovovich, you are nothing but a pathetic liar. You have no right to question my loyalty to Parges. I love my home country more than anything else. Yeah, more than your wife. Here we go. New draft. The national government kills. They have fabricated yet another story about me to distract you from the really important truths. If you don't believe me yet, here's another truth for you. I used to be teacher in Prava, a beautiful small town by the mountains of Ria. My school was destroyed by troops of the nation. I've never gotten over this horrible incident and it broke my heart more than anything else that has happened to me. The national government ordered the shelling of Prava Secondary. They killed those students, not me. They destroyed everything I loved in my hometown. That is what your government does to the innocent. To the weak, they kill. The government ordered the shelling of Prava Secondary. He claims this. So this will be our new narrative, huh? Raban. There we go. He's blaming the nation for his own fault? Our own army attacking a school? Where are the peacekeepers? It's high time to turn things around. This has to end now. We cannot let these preposterous lies stand. We will destroy Raban Vhart. You will now. Get me something that shows beyond any doubt that the nation isn't the one to blame here. Here we go. And we got something else. Email. David, your loyalty to me is beyond any limits. You've been with me from the start. The People's Voice would not nearly have become what it is had you not been there. You are more than a fan. You're a true friend. But I'm tired. I've been writing furiously all day to this point, and look where it got me. Nowhere. Everything around me is falling apart. I have no one left. Even my followers are turning their backs on me. It's over. It has to end. I want it to end. Thank you for standing with me. David Johns. Friend and longtime supporter, has been knowing David Johns since the beginning of The People's Voice. We need to find out who this guy is. Who is David Johns? Is he someone we know already? Got a related document. David Johns again. He had mentioned him before. Regardless, it doesn't matter what role had with The People's Voice. What matters is only the destruction of Raban. We need to know who he is. Maybe we can use that against him, Ampleford. Luckily, I'm the one behind the controls here. Article discussion, an unsung hero that you need to know about. Discussion board, 2012. Is this when he got happy, right? Raban Vhart. I cannot believe you published that article without consulting me. What were you thinking? Why would you do that? I'm away laboring for 2 days and now this? I'm sorry, brother, but I wanted to try and cheer you up. You've been so stressed and sad lately, and since you helped me get out of the Pargesian army, I wanted to do something for you too. I just thought this story might bring you some well-deserved praise, especially with all the controversy that was thrown our way because of the refugee camp articles. Oh, this is when Illya published that article about Raban, claiming that he was a hero, that he saved the kids, etc., etc. You straight up lying to make me feel better will not change this. Ooh, it was a lie. We are the guardians of the truth, and the truth hurts. You had no right to publish that story. I am not a hero. I don't see what the big deal is. People need to relate to you, understand that you aren't just another lunatic mouthpiece, to see that you have compassion, that you have experienced the atrocities firsthand that we write about every day. That's right. I lived them, not you. Seriously, Illya, I can't believe you would do this to me. Now everyone in this camp will be looking at me like I'm some kind of martyr. I even got a fan mail already by a guy named David Johns, who calls himself a huge fan of mine. I don't want that kind of attention. I don't want fans. I just want to move on and forget this thing ever happened. I feel like I'm stating the obvious, but can't you just take it down if it bothers you so much? No. It's garnered too many hits and it has been passed around across the nation. It's spreading like cancer, a disease. Everyone is reading it and now I'm going to have to answer a lot of questions about it. I'm truly sorry, Raban. It was supposed to be a surprise, a morale boost. I don't think you even remotely get what you've done. Alright, so Illya lied. If we go back to the article in question. Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Where? Can't remember where it was posted. I swear it was on their website, right? So I'm looking here. Man, I'm losing my mind. Log, drafts, users, People's Voice. Where was it? This is just a lot of posting. Oh, there it is. Oh my god, it was the second one all along. This is the one that Illya wrote. Raban ran out to the shed and saved these children from certain death, so he lied about that. I think that's important to know. This is under Illya, right? Wait, what exactly did Illya lie about regarding his brother? I've already told you this. Not your friend. Whoa. From David Johns to Raban Vhart, subject not your friend. Raban, it's a lie. It's all a lie. I'm not your friend. I've never been. I can't fully explain it at this time. I've only been here recently. I've just been informed that you're about to claim the nation bombed your school. You have no idea how right you are. I realized this may be my last chance of getting out of this mess. So I got my hands on some internal documents for you. What really happened at Bravo Secondary. It's all in there. Percolates. I'll try to get you more. Keep an eye on you Percolates documents. For now, I must keep my head down. They will now come for me. Hit them. Hit them as hard as you can. David. So David is not your friend. I've never been. I can't fully explain it this time. I've only been here recently. What does that mean? I've just been informed that you're about to claim the nation bombed your school. The draft. You have no idea how right you are. I realize this may be my last chance of getting out of this mess, so I got my hands on some internal documents for... How does he know? Is he working for Orwell? Or she? Maybe it's fake. Maybe Ampleford? Maybe it's my counterpart from season 1? David Johns has been pointed... that's wrong. Has pointed David Johns to confidential... It's supposed to be has pointed Raban Vhart to confidential information. Operation Cavalry. Or Calvary. Whoa. A lot of information down there. Let's get there. Description: this document describes an incident in which the National Army bombarded a Pargesian school. The Army of the Nation had been well aware of the fact that many students and teachers were in the building at this time. The school had been used as a bomb shelter for many weeks. On December 6, 2010, national troops started shelling the school, leaving it completely destroyed. Afterwards, the ruins were searched by military with the help of civilians looking for their children. Soldiers Oleg Bakay and Alexander Petkovich were the only survivors on the side of the Pargesian army and were secured from the shelter. There was only one known civilian survivor whom the Pargesian soldiers had managed to save, but was still seriously injured. The school's principal, Raban Vhart, had been found wounded and retrieved from the ruins. When encountered by civilians, Raban Vhart was met with extreme aversion and had to be protected from them by the army. The report reveals that the order to open fire had been given by a supreme command within the government of the nation, who had stated that the school was occupied by terrorist group forces of True Parges. This turned out to be untrue since there were only civilians and Pargesian army soldiers on site. This shelling was a serious violation of international law and human rights by the Army of the Nation. Wait, so this is an official document proclaiming that the nation is the one responsible for the bombardment. That is the truth. That's the absolute truth. And if we're going to spread propaganda to counter this, we're going to have to lie to the national people. Is that something we're prepared to do? Hang on, let's grab some extra information here. Who's Alexander Petkovich? Is he important? I don't quite know. You know, Raban Vhart was protected. He had to be protected. Huh. The power of the people. What did he do to deserve that? What happened there? More information. Here comes his article. We must end this. Get me a narrative. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. The national government kills civilians. This is exactly the same as the draft. So they destroyed everything I loved in my hometown. This is what your government does to the innocent of the weak. This is why I shall now call them from now on hashtag national murderers. Interesting choice of picture. We're running out of time. What do we do? He's got someone on the inside. Do I refer this to Ampleford? Can I trust her with this information? She might even think it's me if I posted that. She has no clue. Or she might know everything. He's currently outside Bonton. Oh, these are like choices I could make, I guess. I'm guessing this is the most up-to-date one. Is that necessary to know where Illya is? Not really. Oh my god. I have to disappoint you. That's Oleg Bakay. Who's the only civilian? I mean, let's just grab all this information. Let's build a narrative as quick as we can. One related document. ... Raban Vhart, the only civilian. I don't see any hint to his students there. I thought he had rescued a lot of his students. Exactly, right? That's the counter. Thread. My child died in the school bombing. I want justice. Parges Busich. My child died in the school bombing on Monday. I can barely type this message as my hands shake as I try to comprehend that my little girl is gone. I haven't slept, and my stomach is retching as I try to process my grief. I just want to find the ones responsible for the attack, look them in the eye, and make them know just a fraction of the pain that I'm feeling now. I need to know what happened, and I also need to know why it happened. Also, how is it that Raban Vhart was the only survivor? Can someone please explain that to me? Because right now, I'm having a real hard time working that one out. Illya Vhart, dear Mr. Busich, I understand your feelings and your outrage, and I cannot emphasize enough how sorry I am for your loss. I'm answering on account of my brother, who is still hospitalized and in shock about what has happened. Please, take into account that he tried everything in his power to protect all pupils of Brava Secondary. Nonetheless, he can't help but blame himself for what has happened and feels the utmost sympathy for each and every one who has lost a child or other family member in the bombings. But it was not his fault that the FTP attacked the school. Mrs. Toscola, are you kidding me? Mr. Vhart was the one who attracted the attention of the FTP by hiring soldiers of the Pargesian army to defend Brava Secondary. This is why the FTP started the shelling. He rightly blames himself for what has happened because he is the one to fucking blame. I cannot believe he had the gall to come here and defend him. My daughter is also gone. Did all that he could. How could not one single child survive, huh? How dare you claim that your brother is not responsible for this? Derek Antonich. While I do not lose any family members in the bombing, I have to agree with the people here. You have no right to come in here and defend Raban when he, as principal, and therefore the head of the school, called the armed forces to our school? Have you no shame? To give you an idea of what he's done, here's the list they published of people who died that day, a majority of whom were pupils aged 11 to 15. And we got a bunch of names. Where's Radka? Radka Bakay, there she is. She's amongst the deceased. A lot of deaths. All the children died, my god. Mayor Grabovich, dear citizens of Brava, I understand your concerns and I wish to express my sincere condolences. It is a natural reaction to this truly horrific situation, to seek answers for what has happened. But if you really want to hold somebody accountable, it should be the FTP who conducted these bombings. Apparently it's the nation though. Blame our government for not protecting us. Blame soldiers of the nation for failing just as much. But please do not blame one of us. Do not blame the principal, who has done everything he can to help these children, to support parents, to save people. As citizens of Brava, we should stick together in difficult times, instead of throwing stones at each other. Please don't make this terrible war get the best of you. Raban Vhart. First, please let me tell you I'm terribly heartbroken that all of my pupils died in the bombing of Brava Secondary. I decided to speak here, not because I am trying to defend myself. Instead, I discovered a very important fact that the citizens of Brava need to know about. Something that is highly crucial to seeing the bigger picture of this whole goddamn war. The bomb that hit Brava Secondary was a GPB N300. I know these bombs, and they are not the kind of weapons that the FTP usually deals with. These bombs are owned primarily by the Pargesian army. This was not the FTP. This attack was executed by the army, and therefore the government itself. Mrs. Toscola, are you for real, Bart? You come barging in here with what is barely a half-assed apology, and then start spewing conspiracy theories. Our children died. You didn't protect them when they needed someone. That was your job. Now my job is to make sure you don't step foot in our beautiful town again. I will make sure that everyone knows the kind of man you are, Vhart. An insensitive, cowardly, child murderer. I didn't murder your children, the government did. It makes lots of sense. Doesn't anyone here even care about the facts? Fabienne Messaros. What are you still doing here? To hell with your so-called facts. I agree with Mrs. Toscola. You are a child murderer who deserves to be shot. Harij Busic. We want you out, Principal Vhart. Illya Vhart. My brother has done nothing wrong. He dedicated his life to this school, to his pupils, and this is how you thank him? He did everything he could to try and save them. Derek Antonich. Illya, the fact that you are defending your brother's abhorrent actions only makes you an accomplice in our eyes. You should both leave the country and never come back. Illya Vhart. We just might. Thank you for nothing, citizens of Brava. Well, all his children died. Boom. We know that. Illya lied. I cannot believe this. This man, this fraud, to claim he saved the students despite... We should have known. We should have known a long time ago. This is what Illya must have lied about for him. All these lies make me sick. But there is a silver lining. This is all we need. No need to construct a narrative. This itself will be his undoing. Bring him down. Bring him down. There's something happening on Karen's PC. It could be important. You may want to investigate before you spread the narrative. This is a good one, but we do need to investigate Karen's PC.